Okay, so we live in this incredibly fast-paced world, right? Always on. And it's so easy to get caught up in what's going wrong, instead of what's actually going right. We get buried into the stress, the hustle, that never-ending list of things we haven't done. And pretty soon, you just feel completely overwhelmed.
Anxious, even.
Yeah, and that's not just like a choice we make. It's actually built in. Our brains have this negativity bias, psychologists call it. It basically means the bad stuff, the stress. It sticks like Velcro. But the good things, the neutral things, they tend to just slide right off, like Teflon. So when daily challenges pile up, the brain kind of magnifies those negatives, makes it really hard to just, pause.
Right, that's the default setting we're trying to disrupt today. We're doing a deep dive into something really simple, but honestly pretty powerful. Gratitude journaling. And the source material we have is great because it's not theory. It's someone's actual personal journey. It charts, like, specific week of entries, and then talks about the changes that came later. And that context is so important for you, the listener, to grasp. The person who did this experiment, they started out as a total skeptic. Seriously. Okay. They didn't, wander into this from some place of inner peace. They actually started during a really stressful, anxious time in their life. It was almost like a last resort, a Hail Mary. So knowing that this practice ended up creating this oasis of positivity for them right in the middle of all that chaos, that makes the results feel really tangible, really compelling.
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's look at how they actually set it up initially.
Yeah.
The author knew this needed intention.
Right.
The source really emphasizes they didn't just start scribbling on a Post-it note. They picked a quiet evening, got a plain notebook, and specifically set it aside as a safe space for reflection.
And that intentional setup, the physical part of it, that's foundational. Why? Because making it a ritual, actually carving out that space and time, it stops it from being just another note. It turns it into a deliberate act. Mindfulness in action, if you just say, type a couple of notes into your phone, it can feel like just another task on your to-do list. But dedicating quiet time, a specific notebook, it creates a boundary. You're basically signaling to your brain, this time, this space, it's for finding the positive, nothing else.
I love that idea. A physical boundary for a mental shift. Okay, now we get to the really engaging part, that 7-day snapshot. What exactly did they log? And what this week really shows is that, transformation doesn't need these huge grand gestures. It's about consistency. It's about focusing on the little things, the micro joy.
Yes, exactly. The focus is on the daily details. It's the difference between just saying, oh, I'm happy today, and actually documenting why you felt that way, getting specific.
Okay, so day 1. The entry was incredibly simple, savoring a delicious cup of coffee and seeing a really beautiful sunrise. Just sensory stuff, visual.
And that's the perfect starting block, isn't it? It forces you to pause, just for a moment, before the day runs away with you, and actually recognize simple sensory pleasures. We often just consume things, coffee, food, walks, without fully experiencing them. Writing it down makes that experience concrete, memorable, sets a positive tone right away.
Okay, then day 2, the focus shifted a bit. It moved towards support systems. The author wrote about getting a simple but really reassuring text from a friend, how it just immediately brightened their mood. And they noted specifically this made them think about their support network, made them feel profoundly lucky.
Right, so day 1 validates the physical world around you, your senses. Day 2 reinforces the connection world, your relationships. And writing that down, it's like an internal validation of your social capital. It actually strengthens those bonds because you're reminding yourself consciously, I'm not isolated, people care, even with just a simple text.
The journey keeps building. Okay, day 3, the focus turns inward, towards recognition and competence. The entry was about acknowledging finishing a work project, something that had been really weighing them down for weeks.
Yeah, and this is such a powerful cognitive trick, almost. When a big project is stressing you out, your internal story is often about the dread, right? Ugh, I have to do this, it's so much work. By deliberately journaling the completion, the feeling of relief afterwards, you're consciously shifting that narrative. You're moving away from the stress the task caused and focusing instead on the strength and competence it took to finish it. You're literally turning stress into documented proof of your own capability.
Then day 4 brought them back outside again, grounding. Just noting the vibrant colors of autumn leaves during a walk, simple observation. And day 5 was about family connections, a recent video call. The author wrote that it filled them with warmth, helped them feel grounded even though there was distance.
And those 2 days, 4 and 5, they're really essential, I think. They stop the journal from becoming just about like achievements or problems solved. Day 4 acknowledges the huge natural world outside your own head, outside your anxieties. And day 5 confirms that basic foundational family support is still there. It's kind of a dual grounding exercise, Connects you to the physical world and your emotional system at the same time.
But the internal shift, that really seemed to peak on day 6. This entry was all about self-compassion. The author literally wrote about needing to be grateful for their own journey, their own progress, and noted that allowing for that self-compassion felt like a significant milestone in their mental health.
Right, now we're moving fully into the internal landscape, beyond external events or other people. You're validating yourself, basically, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says. But the real turning point, the moment that I think unlocks the deepest psychological benefit, that's day 7.
Yeah, day 7 is the curveball, isn't it? It kind of throws a wrench in how people usually think about gratitude journaling. Instead of listing another positive thing, the author deliberately chose to write about challenges they faced that week, things that had gone wrong. But, and this is the absolute key, they didn't just complain about the difficulties. They chose to express gratitude for the lessons learned from that adversity.
That right there, that is precisely the core mechanism for building emotional resilience through this practice. If you can actually make yourself look back at a setback, maybe a small conflict at work, or a minor money worry, whatever it is, and identify the lesson like, okay, I learned I need clearer boundaries, or I learned I can actually handle an unexpected expense. Ooh, you fundamentally change the negative emotional charge of that experience. It transforms what felt like a failure or a roadblock into usable data, into fuel for growth. You're literally rewriting the internal story from this awful thing happened to me to this happened to me so I could learn X. It's profound.
Wow. Okay, so what does all this add up to in the long run? This journaling obviously became a daily thing for the author, and they noticed the effects starting to spill over to other parts of their life. What were the main categories of transformation they saw?
Yeah, the source material pulled out 4 key areas of change, and they really build on each other. The first one, and the most immediate, was improved mood. No surprise there, maybe. This is that cognitive restructuring we talked about in action. By forcing your mind, gently forcing to look for and write down positive things every day, you're essentially training it, like a muscle. You train it to start noticing the positive more automatically, gradually shifting your baseline focus away from that ingrained negativity bias.
Okay, improved mood. Makes sense. The second benefit was increased resilience, which links directly back to that powerful day 7 entry, right?
Exactly. By constantly reflecting on your documented strengths, I finished that tough project. And the lessons you've learned from past difficulties, I handled that conflict by doing X. Challenges that maybe used to feel paralyzing start to seem more manageable. The author felt like they had this proven mental toolkit ready for the next obstacle. They knew they'd handled stuff before.
Which leads kind of naturally into the third one, doesn't it? Deeper connections.
It does. Because when the author was actively writing down appreciation for people, like that friend who sent the supportive text, it wasn't just an internal feeling anymore. They started becoming more appreciative outwardly, actually telling people more often, expressing that gratitude. And that naturally strengthened their bonds, improved their relationships. Internal gratitude is good for you, but expressed gratitude, that's transformative for relationships.
And the fourth transformation, it was described as more subtle, but really powerful, becoming a persistent mindfulness practice.
Yeah, the journaling itself trained the author to just be more present during the day. They started actively noticing and cherishing small, joyful moments more, instead of letting them just rush by unnoticed in the daily grind. Why? Partly because they knew they needed to find something specific to write down later that evening. It trained their attention.
Okay, this is all incredibly encouraging. So for you, the listener, if you're keen to try this, to translate this personal story into your own life, the author boiled down their experience into 5 really practical, actionable steps. We should probably nail these down.
Absolutely. These are the blueprint. Tip number 1, start small. This is key to beat that perfectionist urge, I have to write something amazing. No, you don't need to write a novel. You don't need 5 earth-shattering moments every day. Even just a couple of lines taking just a few minutes. That's enough. The consistency of just showing up each day is way, way more important than how much you write.
Right. Consistency over volume.
Yeah.
Okay, tip number 2. Be specific. This is crucial. Cannot stress this enough, apparently. Don't just write, I'm grateful for my family. It's too general. It doesn't have much emotional punch. Instead, try to zoom in on a specific moment or experience. Like, I'm grateful my sister called just to chat for 10 minutes today. It made me feel really connected.
Exactly. That specificity is what helps with memory recall and emotional resonance. It makes the gratitude feel real. If you stick to vague stuff like my health, the exercise stays kind of intellectual, abstract. But if you document the precise feeling like, I'm grateful my headache finally cleared up this afternoon, you emotionally relive that relief a little bit. It makes the positive feelings stick longer, harder.
Okay, specific moments. Got it. Tip number 3, make it a habit. You got to anchor it into your routine somehow. Otherwise, it just becomes another thing you forget to do,
Yeah.
right? The source recommends setting aside a dedicated time, consistent time, maybe right before bed to review the day, or perhaps first thing in the morning to set a positive intention for the day ahead, whatever works for you. Tip number 4, experiment. Don't let the format get boring or feel like a chore. If writing paragraphs feels tedious after a while, switch it up. Try a bulleted list. If you're more visual, maybe try little drawings or like quick mind maps representing your grateful moments. The main thing is to keep the practice feeling fresh and engaging, so it stays a source of relief, not another burden.
And finally, maybe the most important piece of advice, the most human one. Tip number 5, be kind to yourself. Seriously. If you miss a day or even a few days, don't beat yourself up. Don't let the journal become another stick to hit yourself with. It's supposed to be a personal journey towards feeling better, towards self-compassion. The second the practice itself starts causing stress or obligation, you kind of miss the point. Just acknowledge you miss it and pick it up again tomorrow. No big deal.
That's great advice. So, wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows that gratitude journaling, while simple, is a genuinely powerful, low effort tool. It can help reshape your basic mindset, boost your emotional resilience, just by consistently acknowledging the good in your life. The small stuff, the big stuff. It's really about cultivating a more positive, more fulfilling outlook, one specific little entry at a time.
Exactly. And I want to leave you, the listener, with one final thought. Something to mull over, maybe. It builds directly on that day 7 insight, the adversity one. The real power here isn't just listing the good things that happen to you. It's about that internal shift, that reframing. It's the ability to apply that lessons learned mindset to the tough stuff. If you can genuinely get to a place where you can thank your challenges, even the small ones, for what they taught you, you are fundamentally changing how you engage with your own life story, your progress, your narrative. So I'd encourage you, think about one current, maybe minor struggle or frustration you're facing right now. And just ask yourself, what necessary lesson learned might I be overlooking in this difficulty? What is this trying to teach me?
That's a really practical and definitely provocative question to end on. Thank you for sharing your source material with us for this deep dive. We'll talk to you next time.